All right, folks, we're running Cinebench R23 on the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Um, I was started this video and then I forgot to change the minimum test duration. I don't want to do a 10-minute throttle testing example, especially if I'm not showing any kind of hardware info, 64 type numbers. So I'm going to run this. We'll get a score, and then I'll come back and we'll look at the temps and power usage. Now, this is in a Gigabyte B850m DS3H motherboard, the cheapest shit you could find for to run this thing on 800 series. Obviously, I could go find a 600 series, but um, we'll see what kind of score we get for those out there that know what other people are getting on X870s. You'll be able to compare any kind of drop off. I do have the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 140 on this, which is a really good CPU cooler for the money. It has dual towers sized up for 140 millimeter, but fan wise, it looks like it's got just the big oval size to around whatever 140 millimeter and a 120 millimeter square fan on it. So let's go ahead and hit this thing. And I don't usually do the single core one, but in this case we might want to, just because of this is such a badass gaming CPU. It might really score high there. I've not looked at anybody's numbers on this thing. I was originally thinking it would land around a i7 14700K, what its score was, but where it's currently showing over here is i5 14400 territory, or Core Ultra 225F territory. So there's the score, 16,000. Ugh. So yeah, not the best multi-core CPU out there for sure, at least on this motherboard. Let's go ahead and do single core, and then after that I'll pause this and I'll try and find hardware info 64, and if I don't have it I'll download it and we'll get it going. This is going to take a while. I might just shut up for a bit. And still going. You would expect the single core to be pretty decent on this thing, but Chugging along. So, according to some stupid website, they're saying the CPU should have achieved about 23,100, and it's obviously nowhere near it. It probably has a lot to do with the motherboard it is sitting in. So I should get some better numbers at some point when I upgrade. It kind of doesn't surprise me. Scores go up and down depending on the motherboard. So single core score should be close to 2,000. Yeah, another person only got 22,905. So, from that aspect, this makes it sound not like the greatest CPU, but obviously gaming with it yesterday, it was freaking cranking. Just Cinebench isn't its friend, I'd say. We're getting there. 10 days later. So I would pause this and just show you guys the score, but the reality is you guys need to know that it was actually performed. No shortcuts. No trick editing. Yeah, so folks, in case you haven't hit this channel before, or you have been on this channel before, we are back, is what I like to say. I am buying new gear. We are testing new gear, doing all that good stuff that we used to do before I went to Germany. I've had a couple of different times where I've just kind of put this channel on the side, which has sucked for me. Went to Africa for like 10 months. And then every time you leave, actually Hawaii in there somewhere, but every time you leave, the channel takes a dump. All right, here we go. 1897. So not anywhere near as good as what people are getting on these X87 X670 boards, probably even X670 boards. Now I'm gonna pause and we'll find hardware info 64. All right, folks, back. Got hardware info 64. It's one of the latest versions. So I'm gonna do. Let's see. We'll do this page or this view, and then we'll drop down so you can see the VRM. All right. So let's hit this thing. We're doing just multi-core, and like I said, that score's way down, right? Which sucks for me because that means, guess what? Got to buy another motherboard to really appreciate the CPU. Such is life, though, folks. It just means gives me, something else to unbox, review, make all my videos for. Except it is a ton of money. I'll probably go the X670 route first before we invest in the X870. Not that that makes a lot of sense and it probably wastes a lot of extra money, but that's just how we roll on this channel. I'll never want to, once I achieve the best that this thing can achieve, I would never want to take it out of that. So I think it is close. Let's see. All right, even lower score. That is awesome. Oh my God. I'm trying to remember if this actually saves the info. Actually, there's no way. There's nothing to hit save on. All right. Let's scroll down. I'm gonna say this motherboard sucks. I should send it back. I just sent a motherboard back. I gotta be careful with Amazon sending everything back to them, but not a good idea, probably. Did we even look at the temps, folks? I mean, seriously. What do we get up to? It's really not bad, considering the motherboard this thing's on. Let's reset this. And we'll come back down here. I'm going to hit it again. And then that's going to wrap up the video. Maybe I'll summarize. Don't spend almost $500 on a CPU and expect it to perform that great on a B850. There's your summary. That is my summary, folks. Yeah. It's actually kind of funny. I mean, some of you might not find it funny, but I find it kind of funny. So I ran this integrated graphics without, discrete GPU, and it's definitely not as good as an 8500G, which isn't surprising. But that said, I was expecting better out of it. All right, so yeah, temp's not that bad. I mean, quite honestly, for this test, I've seen Intel CPUs just thermal throttle on air coolers. So now, most likely this motherboard is the total weakness here, and we're gonna have to do something about it. One thing I am curious about, and it's probably in here, but I haven't. So I'm just getting back into doing all this crap. I can never remember a couple things. I just want to see this guy. Okay. Base speed 4.7. Doesn't that seem a little, compared to Intel, that seems ridiculously high. I'm going to run this again, and just so we can watch this. And I'm going to kill that. And, oh yeah, what was our third score? Oh, even worse, folks. It's going downhill. Feels like we're on a sinking ship with the CPU and this motherboard. Alright, let's just watch the processor speed, what it gets up to. 5.09. And honestly, I bought the CPU just because I'm like, oh, all the AMD fanboys, you know, all the great stuff about it. Didn't do my research yet. But the reality is, right here you're seeing what the speeds is it gets up to on a B850M. Now, in an X870 or X670, maybe it achieves more with that 3D boost, but here, this is all it's getting. Fan is cranking. I think I have the fan set, you know, as far as just normal to silent. And wow, folks, even worse score. Oh my gosh. It's like my CPU's dying before my eyes. And we lost a, this was an engine, we lost a cylinder. Yeah, all right, well, that's going to do it. I think the summary really is, don't be a cheap fuck. Buy an X870 motherboard. Don't waste your time with the B850M. Thanks for checking out my video. Please like, please subscribe.